I'm a hustler on a mission. Grinding for that spot, a brand new pot to piss in. Trying to school my partners, I don't think they pay attention. Sticking to my vision, on the road to the riches. Every single day, I'm a hustler on a mission. Trying to get 100 M's, nigga, I ain't kidding. I'm on a mission, 24/7, 365, until I reach the heavens.
Live. And we back. Welcome back to the lit house. Welcome back to the lit house. Whatever you do, keep the light within you shining bright. You feel me? And I am capital. Whatever you do, make sure you do it capital and create a positive impact today and later, like me. You know what I'm saying? And remember, this is a real nigga reaction. Real niggas do what they want to do. Bitch niggas do what they can. Whole ass niggas gonna talk about it. And fuck niggas gonna hate. Regardless. I promise you that. So let's get into it.
First, I just wanted to say thank you. Thanks.
You know what we like to do right here? We like to speed it up for my ADHD. It's my ADHD. Shout out to Jordan Lucas, man. He just dropped some new shit. ADHD 2, man. That shit fire, man. It's cool. I'll just say it's fire because that's my favorite artist and he nice as fuck. The first couple songs straight. I ain't listened to the whole thing yet. I stopped listening to it when I heard one track. I wasn't really fucking with the one track, but it wasn't that it wasn't. It was good for the style of song that it was, and I could see where he was going. It just wasn't. You know what I'm saying? There's like some reggaeton shit, so that gives you insight on that. He just went a different lane. And I understand with the popularity that Bad Bunny had and all that shit, it only makes sense for an independent person to have that type of record on your new shit when that nigga just did the Super Bowl performance. So, you know what I'm saying? I damn sure get that, you feel me? Shout out that boy Jordan Lucas. Should we try to read lip? So we try to lip read right here. Probably could if I slowed that bit down regular. I got that bit sped up. So this the jet that probably got the best chance of beating the shit. His life on the line. His life and freedom on the line, boy. Like they started nothing yet.
June 22nd. Attempting to utilize, was it legible?
From your testimony yesterday,
testimony again. I'm renewing all of my objections as it relates to the motion to suppress statements, as well as the motions in limine involving gang opinion and gang testimony.
okay, very good.
The same on behalf of Davey and Murphy, Your Honor. We renew all motions and objections to the detective's testimony.
Okay, very good. It's only for the court. That's very good.
All right. All jurors are in.
Okay, very good. Welcome back, members of the jury. Everyone have a seat. And Captain Grayback, you remain under oath from your testimony yesterday, and this is Murphy. Proceed.
Good morning, sir.
Good morning.
I believe when we left off yesterday, we were discussing the efforts to arrest or take Mr. Murphy into custody on the homicide warrant on July 30th.
Okay.
So I'd like to talk to you a little bit about what actually occurs upon Mr. Murphy exiting the apartment. Does he ultimately, around just after midnight, come out of the apartment?
And I'm sorry, Ms. Ismer, just because we have two Mr. Murphys, just for the record, if you would make sure you state your first name so it's clear who you're talking about.
Yes, Your Honor. Does Rashad Murphy on July 30th of 2024 come out of the apartment after midnight?
Yes.
Had at that point the efforts to remove him from the apartment been ongoing since about 5 o'clock or there before?
Yes, ma'am.
Upon exiting the apartment, is Rashad Murphy taken into custody by SWAT and then ultimately transferred to Jacksonville Sheriff's Detective's custody?
Yes.
And would that have been yourself?
Detectives within the gang unit.
Ultimately, is he transported to an area where he can be interviewed?
Yes, ma'am.
And who conducts that interview?
Myself and Detective Craig Griffin.
Is the interview room a location which is video and audio recorded?
Yes.
And did the video and audio recording capture your contacts with Rashad Murphy in the early morning hours of July 30th of 2024?
Yes, it did.
Did you ultimately, at the conclusion of your interview, provide that video and audio recorded interview to the detectives in Tampa?
Yes.
Is that regular practice or procedure to provide the interview even though it did not occur in Hillsborough County?
Of course.
And was that interview ultimately given to Detective Ramos, the lead detective in this case?
That's who I provided it to.
Have you had an opportunity to thoroughly review the contents of that interview?
Yes, ma'am.
And approximately how long, when you were actually in the room with Rashad Murphy, did the interview last?
Between an hour and a half to 2 hours.
At the beginning of that interview itself, did you have an opportunity to read Mr. Rashad Murphy's Miranda warnings to him?
I did read him his constitutional rights prior to speaking with him in reference to this incident.
Is there a form that you also utilize after reading Miranda to a subject you're going to interview?
The Jacksonville Sheriff's Office has a form that contains the constitutional rights along with identifying information like your name and date of birth. So we'll read the constitutional rights each time from the same form.
Did that same practice occur with Rashad Murphy prior to his interview?
Yes,
Did he sign that form?
he did.
Prior to you actually entering that interview room, had you had an opportunity through investigative means to observe Rashad Murphy writing on a video of some kind before
Yes.
that interview?
Yes.
When you entered the interview room, did you know which dominant hand was utilized by Rashad Murphy in the video that you had observed from that prior video?
In the prior video, which occurred sometime before,
Yeah.
What just happened?
Procedure to provide the interview even though it did not occur in Hillsborough County?
Of course.
Character as well, or a new individual?
no. So he could try and write it, try writing on the form.
A location which is video and audio recorded?
Yes.
And did the video and audio recording capture your contacts with Rashad Murphy in the early morning hours of July 30th of 2024?
Yes, it did.
Did you ultimately, at the conclusion of your interview, provide that video and audio recorded interview to the detectives in Tampa?
Yes,
Is that regular practice or procedure to provide the interview even though it did not occur in Hillsborough County?
of course.
And did that, or was that interview ultimately given to Detective Ramos, the lead detective in this case?
That's who I provided it to.
Have you had an opportunity to thoroughly review the contents of that interview?
Yes, ma'am.
And approximately how long, when you were actually in the room with Rashad Murphy, did the interview last?
Between an hour and a half to 2 hours.
At the beginning of that interview itself, did you have an opportunity to read Mr. Rashad Murphy's Miranda warnings to him?
I did read him his constitutional rights prior to speaking with him in reference to this incident.
Is there a form that you also utilize after reading Miranda to a subject you're going to interview?
The Jacksonville Sheriff's Office has a form that contains the constitutional rights along with identifying information like your name and date of birth. So we'll read the constitutional rights each time from the same form.
Did that same practice occur with Rashad Murphy prior to his interview?
Yes,
Did he sign that form?
he did.
Prior to you actually entering that interview room, had you had an opportunity through investigative means to observe Rashad Murphy writing on a video of some kind before
Yes.
that interview?
Yes,
When you entered the interview room, did you know which dominant hand was utilized by Rashad Murphy in the video that you had observed from that prior video?
in the prior video, which occurred sometime before.
Yeah.
Oh, that's why they turned that bitch off. They wanted to approach. Okay. Okay. They wanted to approach. Let's see how long they was huddled up. They huddled up for a significant amount of time. They got a 2-minute timeout. Let's see.
In that video, I observed Rashad Murphy writing on a form with his left hand.
Now, on the date of your formal interview, when you asked him to sign the consent form you've already described for us, what hand did he utilize?
He attempted to use his right hand.
Did you observe his attempts to use his right hand?
Yes,
And was the writing that he was attempting to utilize, was it legible?
not at all.
At some time during the course of your interview, strike that, I apologize. Did you inquire with Mr. Murphy about whether he was right-handed or left-handed?
In that moment, I did not. However, it was so apparent to me in the moment that he was struggling and having a hard time that I asked him if he was okay. And he asked me to hold the piece of paper so he could try and write it, try writing on the form, which I thought was strange, but it didn't occur to me later what he was attempting to do.
And had you
Objection, Your Honor, call for opinion.
Sustain as to the last,
had you had an opportunity to review the surveillance footage that had been obtained from the night or early morning hours of the homicide from a Tesla vehicle?
Yes,
Dun, dun, dun.
At this time, Your Honor, the state seeks to publish what's been previously admitted as State's Exhibit number 59. Sir, can you see the images depicted here on the screen?
yes,
And was this a still from the Tesla video or one of the stills from the Tesla videos that you had an opportunity to observe?
yes.
In reviewing that video, could you determine anything about the individual depicted to the right of this image?
The person holding the pistol is holding it with his left hand.
Is that why you made inquiries of Mr. Murphy regarding his, I guess, primary or dominant hand?
Yes,
Had you observed additional photographs of the defendant Rashad Murphy from the Tesla camera as well on his return to the vehicle, States 59E?
yes,
And again, this the individual that possessed, at least based on your review of the evidence in the case, the 9mm firearm with an extended magazine.
yes,
Lastly, 59G, as that individual again approached closer to the Tesla, is the firearm that you previously mentioned also still depicted in the same left hand?
yes.
Your Honor, at this time, the state would seek the court's instruction on Mr. Rashad Murphy's interview.
okay, very good.
We gotta try to line it up with the hand play, the dominant hands.
Crimes committed to law enforcement officers are admissible only against the defendant Rashad Murphy, who made the statement. The statement is not admissible evidence against any of the co-defendants and should not be considered against any of the remaining co-defendants.
Sir, you previously indicated that you read Mr. Murphy his Miranda rights, is that correct?
Yes, ma'am.
And did you also have an opportunity to confirm that he understood those rights during the course of your interview?
Yes,
Did he indicate that he did understand those rights?
he did.
Did he wish to give a statement at that time?
Yes,
In speaking to him specifically about the Tampa investigation, did you ask him about how he acquired the silver Chevy Cruze on the weekend of June 22nd of 2024?
yes,
Did he identify the individual from whom he obtained that vehicle?
he did.
And who did he identify as the person he got that vehicle from?
He described it as the mother of the children to his brother. Her name is Jasmine Glennon.
When you asked him about whether Ms. Glennon was aware of his reason for obtaining that vehicle, did he indicate to you whether he told her the truth about why he was obtaining the vehicle or not?
Ask that again.
Did he tell Ms. Glennon the reason he was obtaining the vehicle, the silver Chevy Cruze, for the weekend?
I believe he told her he needed to go down to Orlando.
At any point during the course of the investigation, did Mr. Rashad Murphy advise that he was lying to Ms. Glennon about his reason for borrowing the car?
Yes.
And did you later determine that Ms. Glennon would have been the registered owner of that silver Chevy Cruze?
She was.
Did you inquire with Mr. Murphy, at least in the very beginning of your interview, about when he had that Chevy Cruze and when he had taken possession of it prior to his arrest in Gwinnett County on June 26th after the murder?
Yes.
Had he indicated whether he had that vehicle for the weekend of June 22nd?
He advised he allowed someone to borrow that vehicle during that time period.
How was the defendant able to identify specifically the weekend that you were talking about, because it was a month earlier at the time your interview was conducted?
One of Rashad Murphy's children, their birthday is on June 23rd, which is also the same day of this incident. So we used that as a point of reference for that weekend.
Preliminarily, when you spoke to Mr. Murphy at the first part of your interview, did he indicate that he had the car himself all weekend?
No.
Throughout the course of your interview with Mr. Murphy, did he admit to reviewing some news or media related to the case itself prior to his arrest?
Yes. The Tampa Police Department had a press conference in reference to this investigation at the conclusion of the arrest of the 3 other defendants, and that was all over the news.
And that would have been in the days leading up to Rashad Murphy's arrest?
Yes.
Did Rashad Murphy also indicate to you that he had read through the probable cause of a search warrant that was executed on the vehicle he was arrested in?
Yes.
Did he discuss with you that he knew some facts that surrounded the case or surrounded why he would be arrested?
He insinuated he had knowledge in reference to that. Yes.
In the first version of the events of that weekend that you asked Mr. Murphy about, did you ask him directly whether he had booked an Airbnb in his name?
I did.
Did Mr. Murphy initially deny that?
Yes.
Did he also deny allowing anyone else to book an Airbnb in his name?
Yes.
As you go on with your interview, or at some point during the course of your interview, with the denials that come from defendant Rashad Murphy, do you slowly start to reveal some information that's come to light throughout the course of the investigation?
Yes. The beginning of the interview I would describe was me offering Mr. Rashad Murphy an opportunity to share his side of the story truthfully. Once I afforded him that opportunity, I began to share actual facts in reference to this, which began to pivot some of his story.
I want to start with the first revelation, if that's what we can call it. Okay, so after the denials of having possessed the silver Chevy Cruze, and did you ask if he was in Tampa?
I asked him if he was in Tampa multiple times.
And he initially denies that.
Multiple times.
Now, do you first reveal that there is cell phone evidence that was retrieved from the arrest on June 26th, which includes a message of Mr. Rashad Murphy booking an Airbnb?
Yes, I do share with him in reference to the message about the Airbnb.
Do you then obtain a subsequent version of events from Rashad Murphy about what happened that weekend, now taking that information that you revealed into consideration?
At that point, when I provided him that information about the text message and Airbnb and it being addressed to him, Mr. Rashad Murphy says that he provided someone a picture of his ID to book the Airbnb.
Did he also give any indication about having provided someone with a vehicle?
Yes, he told me that he allowed someone to borrow the silver Chevrolet Cruze.
But still, he was not, in this version, not in Tampa.
Correct.
Do you, throughout the course of the investigation, continue to ask whether the defendant was in Tampa?
I asked him if he was in Tampa, if he had ever been to Tampa at all, ever. I asked it in a variety of ways, but he continued to say no for a period of time.
Did you ask the defendant whether he was physically present in Tampa ever?
Yes.
Did he initially give you one response to that question?
His initial response to me asking if he had ever physically been in Tampa, his response to that was no.
At the end of the interview, does he ultimately admit that he had, in fact, been to Tampa before?
Yes. He couldn't recall when that time frame was.
So after these denials, it is just that he gave the vehicle and his Airbnb information and his IDs to another individual. Is that correct?
Yes.
Do you reveal additional evidence after his denial of being in Tampa that actually puts him in Tampa from the TPD investigation with the Uber driver?
I do.
And what's that information?
Once we got to a point in the interview that I felt he wasn't going to share with me that he had ever been in Tampa, it was at that point I shared with him that there was an Uber ride that existed where he occupied an Uber that traveled from Tampa back to Jacksonville on June 23rd.
Now, when you provided this information about an Uber and him having been identified in that circumstance back to Jacksonville, did he still deny that that was him or deny the identification?
Yes, he challenged that fact with by asking me, how does that mean I was in Tampa?
Did you also then reveal that Mr. Murphy had been captured on Sean Gathwright's residential video camera returning in the Uber?
We're going to object to the continued nature of the leading by the state and testifying.
Overruled.
At that point in the interview, I then share with Rashad Murphy that there is video surveillance at Sean Gathwright's home that shows Rashad Murphy, Isaiah Chanson, and Alicia Andrews exiting an Uber vehicle and with bags and walking up to Sean Gathride's house.
When you revealed this information to him, did you actually show any kind of video footage or anything like that?
No.
When you advised him if this information was true, what does that say about your version of events? Did he respond?
Yes, he said, because I asked Rashad Murphy, how does this reflect your prior statements to me at this point in the interview? And he said that contradicts everything I told you and makes me look like a liar.
When you spoke to him or asked him again about the Uber, did he initially recall getting in an Uber?
No.
Did he ultimately admit to getting in an Uber?
Yes.
Did he ultimately admit to riding in that Uber?
Yes.
And where did he ride in that Uber from?
From Tampa.
Did you, at some point, exit the interview room with Detective Griffin?
Yes.
What was the purpose, at least at this point in the interview, of you exiting at this particular time?
I wanted to provide Rashad Murphy a moment by himself in the interview room after I had shared the video surveillance facts. So I allowed him to just sit by himself and think about what I shared with him for a few moments prior to returning.
Is that a strategy that you employ as a detective during the course of your interviews, or is that something that you're also trained to do?
I do it occasionally.
In this particular case, did you actually re-enter the interview room with Rashad Murphy?
Yes.
And when you re-entered that time, is that the only break you took, where you exited?
Yes.
When you re-entered the interview room with Detective Griffin, was there a new version of the events of what occurred on the weekend of June 23rd going into June 22nd going into June 23rd?
Yes.
Did you directly ask Rashad Murphy whether he was in Tampa on June 22nd or June 23rd?
Yes.
What was Rashad Murphy's response to having been in Tampa that weekend?
So I entered back into the interview room, and upon entering, that's the first question I asked him. I asked him if he was going to be truthful about being in Tampa during that weekend. He responds by providing a news story that he had not shared over the course of the past hour and a half during the interview.
Did he, in that news story, provide a new character as well, or a new individual?
Yes.
And who was that?
He identified himself as traveling to Tampa on June 23rd with a person named Darius Beals.
Did he identify that person by legal name, or was there a nickname that was utilized in the interview?
He initially identified him as Fizzle, which is Darius's nickname.
And did you inquire about the legal name of that individual?
Yes.
Did he provide the name Darius Beals to you?
Yes, he did.
At the time that Charles Jones was killed, was Darius Beals, aka Fizzle, living?
When Charles Jones was killed on June 23rd, at that point, Darius Beals was still living, yes.
At the time of your interview on July 30th of 2024, do you know whether Fizzle or Darius Beals was still alive?
At this point, on July 30th, when I interviewed Rashad Murphy, Darius Beals was deceased.
And are you familiar with the individual named Darius Beals?
I am, yes.
When he advised that he came to Tampa with Darius Beals, did he advise where they came from?
Ask that again?
Did he say where they came from when he told you he came to Tampa with Fizzle?
I believe he said they traveled to Tampa from Jacksonville.
Did you ask him specifically for a time that they would have arrived, or a date that they would have arrived to Tampa?
Yes.
And what was the response to that question?
He advised that himself and Fizzle Darius Beals traveled to Tampa on June 23rd in the early mornings, afternoon hours.
Do you remember the specific time that the defendant gave you that he would have come to or arrived in Tampa with Darius Beals?
Is it okay if I reference my report?
Would it refresh your recollection?
Yes.
Yeah, let's take a look at the report. Once your memory is refreshed, then please look at it.
Okay, my memory's refreshed.
Did he give a specific time frame for when Rashad Murphy himself and Darius Beals actually traveled to Tampa?
He indicates it was between 5 or 6 a.m.
On June 23rd.
Yes.
And the homicide of Charles Jones, do you know what time that occurred?
I know it was in the early morning hours between 4 or 5 in the morning.
So the statement from Rashad Murphy was that he arrived to Tampa between 5 a.m. and
6 a.m. Travel to.
do you know what time Mr. Murphy would have then arrived at the Airbnb in Jacksonville?
With that estimation, it would be approximately 3.5 hour drive.
Is that your estimation that you're giving us today?
Based on my travels from Jacksonville to Tampa, yes.
Upon arriving to the address or the location of the Airbnb, did Rashad Murphy tell you what he did?
Yes.
What is it that he did?
He said he went to the rear of the door at this Airbnb, knocked on it, and learned that no one was inside and that the people occupying this Airbnb were leaving on his recent arrival. They were leaving in the Uber.
Did, prior to saying he knocked on that door, he also indicated he went through the door to check out the Airbnb?
Yes.
And Did you confront him with whether he was captured on the Ring camera at the front door of the Airbnb?
I believe I inquired about that, and he said he wouldn't have been on the video because he went to the rear door.
So the statement from Rashad Murphy was that he went through the door and checked out the Airbnb, and then that he went to the door and knocked on the Airbnb, and no one answered.
To the rear door, and no one answered.
What did he do after that in the early morning hours of the 23rd?
Once he realized no one was inside at the Airbnb, he went and made contact with people that were occupying an Uber that was traveling back to Jacksonville from Tampa.
So the statement was that upon arriving around 8 a.m. or something, the Uber driver was there and the Airbnb occupants were getting in the Uber.
Correct.
After Rashad Murphy advises that, did you confront him with receipts of when the Uber driver actually arrived to the Airbnb? Not physical receipts, but did you tell him when the Uber driver arrived to the Airbnb?
No, I don't believe I shared that with him.
Had you indicated that, would the video recording or transcript of that video been a more accurate depiction of what that communication was?
Yes.
So this version of events that was provided was that after the defendant's arrival to the Airbnb, the occupants of the Airbnb were already outside.
Yes.
When you were discussing the Uber vehicle itself, did Rashad Murphy describe that vehicle to you?
He kept calling it a black truck.
Did you ultimately confirm that was, or did you discuss that with him in some way?
No, he kept saying black truck, and I think at one point I said, you mean a black SUV?
But he did confirm that he entered that Uber vehicle.
Yes.
Did you confront him about his having traveled there just in those morning hours and then immediately traveled back to Jacksonville?
Correct.
And what was his response to that?
He continued to deny this Uber ride and how he was able to arrive to Sean Gathwright's house in the Uber ride. But ultimately, he does admit that he rode in the Uber from Tampa back to Jacksonville.
Did you inquire with him about whether they stopped in utilizing that Uber for food or gas?
I asked that. I don't believe he provided a response to it.
When you were interviewing Rashad Murphy specifically about his time in Tampa, did you directly ask him whether he possessed a phone?
I did ask that.
What was Mr. Rashad Murphy's initial response to your inquiry about whether he had a phone with him in the early morning hours of June 23rd?
He initially says he has a cell phone on him.
Did he attempt to give you a phone number?
Once he provided me that answer, I inquired about the phone number for that phone.
And did that statement change as well?
When I asked him for the phone number for the phone, he attempted to provide some numbers. It wasn't a full phone number. And then he responds that he didn't have a phone.
Did Rashad Murphy ever claim to be using someone else's phone?
He also says, once he tells me he didn't have a phone, he then says that he was using the cell phone belonging to Darius Beals.
Throughout the course of your interview with Rashad Murphy, did you confront him about whether he knows Charles Jones, aka Julio Foolio?
I asked him if he knew him, yes.
What was Mr. Rashad Murphy's response to that?
He said he knew of him, but didn't know him personally and had never seen him before.
And did you inquire of Rashad Murphy about whether he knew an individual by the name of Sean Gathwright?
I did ask that, yes.
Did you inquire as to how well they knew each other?
I did.
And what was Mr. Murphy's response about whether they had been in contact before?
He said he knew Sean. He addressed him as Sean. That's what he knew him as, and that he knew him through another individual. But he describes his relationship with Sean as more like acquaintances, that he had met him a few times.
Other than the return from Tampa on the Vivint camera, did you discuss with Rashad Murphy about whether he had been on that camera or to that residence before?
Yes. Rashad Murphy tells me that he had been to Sean Gathwright's home several times.
How about Isaiah Chance? Did he admit to knowing an individual by the name of Isaiah Chance?
He did confirm he knew who Isaiah Chance was.
And did he admit to the nature of that relationship?
Yes, he said he had hung around Isaiah a few times and described him as good people.
How about Davion Murphy?
Described Davion Murphy as family, his cousin.
At some point during the interview, when speaking with Rashad Murphy about the death of Charles Jones or Julio Foolio, did he also mention an individual by the name of Joe Rod or Gerard?
Yes.
And who is that individual to Rashad Murphy?
Gerard Adams is a cousin to Rashad Murphy, went by the nickname Spaz.
Did Rashad Murphy also mention Spin Up Benz during the course of his interview?
Yes.
What was the nature of the context of him referencing Spin Up Benz?
We were discussing drill rap music in Jacksonville, and Rashad Murphy was expressing that he did not appreciate the lyrical, the bad lyrics within this Jacksonville drill rap, and he expressed to Spin Up Benz, that he shouldn't be making that type of music.
Are you familiar with who Spin Up Benz is?
Yes.
Do you know the legal name of Spin Up Benz?
His name is Noah Williams.
And lastly, did you confront Mr. Rashad Murphy about J. Breezy?
Yes.
Did you speak with him about how J. would have been relevant to the investigation?
Briefly, yes.
And what was his response, if anything, to the link to J. Breezy?
I don't recall what his response to that was.
Did you make any inquiries to Rashad Murphy about the payments that were made for securing the Airbnb on Gazebo Point Lane?
Yes.
And was that in reference to a J. Breezy?
I was made aware at some point that it was, yes.
Do you know the identity of J. Breezy?
I do, yes.
What's his legal name?
Jacory Rivers.
May I have one moment?
Yes.
Sir, at the conclusion of your interview with Rashad Murphy, was he placed under arrest or taken into custody and transported to the jail for his homicide warrant?
Yes,
Did you notify Detective Ramos about the contents of the interview that had been provided by Rashad Murphy?
I did. I supplied it to Tampa Detective Juan Ramos.
Ultimately, after July 30th of 2024, do you have 4 of the 5 subjects that have arrest warrants for this homicide in custody?
Yes.
What do you then do as it relates to the 5th subject from July on?
Myself and other detectives within the gang unit continued our efforts to locate and apprehend Davion Murphy in reference to his active arrest warrant for this incident.
Before I have you talk to me about the efforts that you took during the course of the interview with Rashad Murphy, did you have a sufficient opportunity to see his face? Rashad Murphy. I apologize.
Ask that again, sir.
Did you have an opportunity to see Rashad Murphy's face during the course of your interview with him in Jacksonville?
Yes.
Would you be able to identify the individual that you know to be Rashad Murphy today?
Yes.
Can you do so?
Yes, he is sitting at a table that's positioned to my right with his defense counsel, and Mr. Rashad Murphy is wearing a gray jacket with a dark colored button-down shirt underneath.
May the record so reflect.
The record shows that.
I apologize. So you took some efforts to locate or execute the final arrest warrant in this case on Davion Murphy.
Yes, ma'am.
What are those efforts that you took?
We followed up on leads. There would be some leads that people would call in anonymously, so we follow up on that. We would conduct surveillance at known family members' houses on occasion in search of Davion Murphy and other apprehension efforts to locate him, but those were all unsuccessful.
When you say the location efforts, you go to multiple places?
Yes.
Do you go to multiple residences?
Yes.
Is it just you that's looking for Davion Murphy at this time?
No.
Were there any press conferences asking for assistance in this search as well from the public?
I know once the first 3 defendants, Alicia, Isaiah, and Sean, were arrested, there was a press conference in reference to the 2 outstanding people, Rashad and Davion. That was early in July, though. I believe that was the only press conference that I remember.
How about news or media outlets writing stories or putting out stories? Have you seen those that Davion was still outstanding?
Yes.
Was that something that was happening in Jacksonville?
Yes.
Ultimately, was Davion Murphy arrested?
Yes, he was.
Do you recall the date of that arrest?
I believe it was January 6th of 2025.
What were the circumstances of that arrest?
Davion Murphy was located inside of an apartment inside of Jacksonville. Our SWAT team responded to that apartment complex and ultimately took Davion Murphy into custody at that location.
Where would he have been transported after he was taken into custody?
He was transported to downtown to our interview room.
Is that interview room, also video and audio recorded?
Yes, it is.
And do you recall how long the interview that you conducted with Davion Murphy took?
I would estimate it was approximately 2 hours.
Just as we discussed with the earlier interview, did you provide that interview at its conclusion to detectives here in Tampa?
Yes, ma'am.
Did you have an opportunity to actually sit in on the interview of Davion Murphy?
I did.
And did you read him any warnings in advance of that interview?
Prior to beginning the interview, which is common practice, I read Davion Murphy his constitutional rights prior to asking him questions about this incident.
Who was present with you during the course of his interview?
During the interview with Davion Murphy, Detective Richard Nieder sat in on the interview with me.
Now, when you have another detective sitting on the interviews, I think you said Griffin sat in on the last one and Nieder sat in. Are there rules to who gets to talk, or explain to us why there would be one leading detective?
There's not rules necessarily. However, there usually is an appointed lead person asking questions, so the 2 detectives aren't speaking over each other.
It just happens to be you for Rashad Murphy's interview and now Davion Murphy's interview.
Yes,
And did Davion Murphy elect to give a statement to yourself and Detective Nieder?
he did.
Is that interview conducted in a different location than the interview of Rashad Murphy?
No, it was conducted at the same building.
During the course of the interview with Davion Murphy, is when you exit the interview room, is there something that you do or is regular practice in Jacksonville with the audio in the rooms?
There is equipment for us to turn on music into these interview rooms, so the persons that are inside the interview rooms can't hear between the thin walls what's going on outside.
Okay, so there's something about the building itself that you turn the music on?
Yes,
Are you and the other detectives outside of that interview room discussing the case, or what are you doing?
that's what we usually do, yes.
And when you have a subject that's in an interview room and you are outside of that interview room, is it regular practice that you want them to hear what you're saying or do not want them to hear what you're saying?
You would prefer them not to hear what you're saying.
Throughout the course of the interview with Davion Murphy, did you play the audio or whatever it was that you were mentioning after you would exit the room?
Yes,
So will we hear or see that on an interview with Mr. Davion Murphy audio when you leave the room?
correct.
Is there any specific preference or choice or rhyme or reason to what you play?
No, it's preset to some radio station. It's just usually just plays like old hits music.
And when you re-enter the interview room, do you turn that music off, radio station off?
Yeah, so then upon entering back into the interview room, the music would be turned off.
Do you have an opportunity to see into the interview room or observe what's happening inside of that room from a video feed of some kind?
We have a remote viewing spot in the same building where we can watch what's occurring in the interview room, despite us not physically being in there.
And was that the same when Davian Murphy was interviewed by your agency on January 6th of 2026?
Yes.
What was the version, well, before the interview actually even formally starts, are you able to observe Davian Murphy inside of the interview room?
Yes.
What, if anything, is he doing?
Singing.
Okay. Are you able to understand or hear him singing?
I can hear him, yes.
Are there times where he's not singing, he's just talking?
Yes.
Is there anyone else present in the interview room with him?
No.
Is there anyone making an inquiry of him at that time?
No.
Who is he talking to?
Himself.
Are you able to see these events occurring before the formal interview even starts?
That's what you
Yes.
think.
As throughout the course of your interview with Davian Murphy, you exit the interview room, are you still able to see what's happening inside?
Correct.
And are there also additional times where he's talking to himself?
Yes.
What is the, I guess, version of events that you received from Davian Murphy?
Judge, we're going to object and review our previous objections to this testimony.
Prior to responding to that question, Your Honor, may I seek the instruction for Davian Murphy?
Yes.
Fucking right, man. I got that. Send that to her. Okay. Get that whole goddamn. Get that. I'm gonna get that. I'm gonna get that back. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. I'm finna do it. I gotta pay with the credit card stuff.
All right,
That shit.
ladies and gentlemen of the jury, again, statements made by defendant Davion Murphy.
What I
about
need to
the
do
evidence
is-
heard. Statements made to law
I
enforcement
need
are admissible
to
only against defendant
look
Davion
at
Murphy.
something.
That the statement is not admissible evidence against any of the co-defendants and should not be considered against any of the written co-defendants.
Well, I fuck up. I gotta pay that.
Sir, before briefly discussing the contents, you had an opportunity to observe Davian Murphy in a position where you could identify him today.
Got to get done.
I can't
know what to
Do you
do.
see him here in this courtroom?
I do.
Maintain
Would
my
you have an
business,
opportunity to
chain
please
and
identify him?
whatever I gotta
And name and article of clothing he's wearing.
Thank you. He's sitting positioned to my right at a table with his defense counsel and Mr. Davion Murphy wearing a black jacket with a white button-down shirt that has stripes.
Is that the standing individual at this time?
Yes, ma'am.
Matter of fact, man, we'll be back. We're gonna wrap this shit up.
And had you also, especially in your